Hi everybody. I decided to come out here and harvest my Chinese cabbage, and I thought I'd let you see. I've already harvested this one. I cut all the leaves off, and as you can see, I cut what leaves and stems I cut off. I laid down in the bottom for right now. If I need to, I'll take it out and put it in another container as compost, or I may just leave it in that one. I don't know yet. But anyway, I've been working on these out here. Already harvested that black bucket there. Then I was working on my white buckets. And I got these on this side and the top. I've got to get over here on the back side. See what I've got going here. I've still got those two bottom buckets to get. And as you can see, I've already pretty much got a bowl full of Chinese cabbage. But I cut what stems off of them. I can leave them in the pot to either act as compost for these, or I'll take some out and put them in other pots as compost. And of course I put the raggedy looking leaves down in there that I don't want to cook. I'll just cut those off and leave them in there. But I usually cut it off right about here. Oops. And I've checked for worms. I've only seen one or two so far, and they were little ones since the rain. But you gotta trim them up, harvest them, so they'll keep growing. You don't want the leaves to get too tough, too big. But they will regrow. I gotta get this one back here. Just lay that leaf right there. But I have better luck growing the Chinese cabbage than I do the other cabbage. The cabbage that heads up, I mean, I can grow it, but the worms eat it up before the cabbage can head up. Leave those one or two leaves at the top. And I've got some here. Well, this is kale. Some of it is kale, some of it is Chinese cabbage. Oops. Can't tell what I'm showing you here. This is Chinese cabbage back here. So I think I'll harvest the Chinese cabbage this time. See if you can see that bucket. Yeah, I'm just going to set my bowl on the bucket. But all the stems, the part that you don't cook, makes really good compost. Aren't those some pretty leaves? I mean, they're small. That one is, but I mean, it's not really small, but it's not a great big one like the other plant. But they'll get that way. And even though some of them have a few holes, I mean, you can still eat them. They're still good. Just make sure you don't have a worm on there. If you do, you'll just add some protein to your collards, your cabbage. But yeah, you got to give it a haircut once in a while to keep it growing, or if you don't, the leaves take all the nutrients out. And they will get tough. And I'm surprised they've stayed as clean as they have with all the rain we've had, since I don't have mulch in here. But they're fairly clean. Go over here on the other side. Yeah, any of this stuff you cut off and you leave in the tote with your plant growing, it's just going to add food to your plant. And sometimes I'll leave it in one until I get ready for it, maybe to build another tote or a bucket or something, and then I'll go around and take it out and put it in that tote or bucket that I need it in. But if I found if you give it a good haircut, basically, trim all the bad leaves off the bottom, it'll help it grow and produce more big, pretty leaves. Yeah, just cut off the ones that you're not going to eat and leave them right in the bucket or the tote, the pot. That helps the plant revive and grow more new leaves that are pretty. It's not pulling nutrients from the rest of the plant. It also lets the sun get in there to the rest of the plant. See, now these will grow back. All of them will grow more leaves. Pretty leaves. And you'll be getting off any of the, basically the worms that might want to grow. Like we got this one over here. I got a lot of it. But it can go in the refrigerator. So. I mean, look at the size of that leaf. I mean, that's pretty even when the stem's cut off of it. Every place I cut a leaf off will grow a new one. Plus more down the inside of the stem. Oh man. Chinese cabbage does not head up, not like a regular cabbage does. So you can just harvest the leaves like this. And I'm going to have a big pot of greens of cabbage. See, like that one, it's been eaten some, but there's nothing wrong with that leaf. I mean, you wash it and you cook it. I mean, you can see I scalp them. That gives them a chance to grow back. Ooh, I'm gonna have to go on the other side. See what you can see in there. Yeah, you can still see what I'm doing. I got a bucket over here on the other side of it. Yeah, I prefer to grow Chinese cabbage. I mean, you can make coleslaw with it just like you do the other cabbage if you want. Just put it in your blender. Or chop it up in a bowl. See, this one had a few eggs on the back. I just brush them off and I'll wash it when I get it in the house and throw it in the pot too. I need to put a little bit of Sevin dust, or I can't even put that I can't think of the name of what you call it. Dalmatian earth or whatever. I can't even pronounce it. I'm told they put it in playgrounds to keep bugs from getting in the playground areas for the kids. So it's got to be pretty safe. Not hardly any bug eggs even. Not on the Chinese cabbages. Whew. How come I left that one over there? But every leaf you cut off like this will help the new leaves grow. And you'll always have a pretty bunch of cabbage. Oh, it hurts my back just to lean over like that. Now let's see, I got some behind me. That's Chinese cabbage. That end bucket. And you can see there at my onions, the two middle ones, I pulled them up, cut the tops off of them just halfway so they won't fall over. And I replanted them so they're not so deep. So that'll give them a chance to bulb up better. See if I can get over here. Yeah, as big as the leaves are, I'll look over them really good when I cut them to make sure there's no bugs on them or anything. pot to look at that one, but there's nothing there. A little bit of dirt on some of them from the dirt in the pot, that's all. And again, what stems I cut off, I just leave right in the bucket, in the pot. Unless I come back through later and take them out and put them in another tote. But every one I cut off like that, the dead ones, the big ones, the ones that don't look good, will help the new leaves come. Let me get over on this side. And I cut them close to the plant, so there's no big stem sticking out on them. Been meaning to do this for a couple of days, and I've been so busy doing everything else, I didn't get around to it. But I'm making it a point to do it today. Yeah, but any of this that you don't that you don't want to cook, leave in the pot. Leave in the tote. It'll break down and be plant food for the rest of the plants. Or you can come back later, take it out, and put it into a pot that you're fixing. You're composting in place. Oh man, it gets my back. I'm glad it's up as high as it is though, because that helps with my back the way it is. Just go around and give the other ones a good haircut. Like these, I can even harvest those 3 at the top. Oh. The wind's blowing them off my bowl. Oh. And when you cut them and leave them down in the bottom, if there's any worms in that dirt, they'll eat the ones you've cut off and maybe leave your plants alone as they regrow. And that other stuff growing in there don't need to be growing in there. And I know I got a big one over here. Come get the camera. See, I gave them all a good haircut. Scalped them. Gave them a spring haircut. And my onions will do good since I've cut them off and raised them up so they're not quite as deep. Hopefully they'll bulb up for me. And I still haven't put dirt. More dirt to my potatoes over here. See what I'm showing you. There's the one I wanted on right there. But look at my bowl. It's overflowing. You'll probably set this on that bucket right underneath it. I mean, this is one that made it through the summer months. And it is huge. I mean, made it through the winter months. What am I saying? And I could probably still chop up a lot of the leaf, the stem that I'm cutting off. Because that would be kind of crunchy. And see, even this one's turning a little yellow, but it's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. It's been raining a lot and it got too much rain, too much water. And that's all it is. A little bit of dirt. And this is growing right out of this little pot that's in here. It's got dirt splashed on it, but like I said, it'll wash off. I'll take them in the house and wash them. Look at that. It's a big cabbage. You can cook more of the stem of a cabbage, a Chinese cabbage, than you can like the kale or the collards. They don't get quite as tough. Every bit of this is growing out of this little pot that I put inside this tote. It's crazy. But see, there's no worms on this at all that I see. Some of them were a little, got eaten by some kind of bug, got a few holes in it, but not many. Like that, something ate a couple of holes in it, but it wasn't a worm. I don't know what it was, but it's fine. Whew. know, try to cut as much of the stems off, because that'll help grow more leaves up to the plant. Well, we got that one. And see, this is more onions here. I didn't have another pot to transplant them into, so I decided to leave them. I may come back through and raise them up, replant them so they're not quite as deep like I did the other ones, but just leave them in this pot, in this tote. But not today. But look at all of those greens, y'all. Dropping them. And I still got one, I think, over here on this other side that needs to be harvested. Oh man. If y'all, any of y'all watching have a back injury, you know what I'm talking about. When you hump over like that to do anything, it puts a strain on your lower back and it hurts. See, like that cabbage right there. Get this camera turned around. Like that one. It really needs to be harvested. Even though I got a bowl full here. It's so pretty, I hate to cut it. This will help my peas grow around it too. I got one little cocoon on that, but it wasn't a worm yet. Whew. I'll just leave that one down in there for compost. But see, that's where how you do it. And it'll grow more leaves where you cut these off. And get rid of the little worm that was on it. One little worm was on the very top. But he's not eating my plant because I'm fixing to eat it. Or I'm fixing to cook it. And I think this is the last one over here. I definitely don't have to plant any more Chinese cabbage, to be sure. flower coming up in there. My broccoli. Doesn't hurt to throw a couple of broccoli leaves in there. I'd rather it had it up, but oops. Get this one cut. And I think this is the last one I've got that needs to be harvested. I usually cook my Chinese cabbage just basically like I do regular cabbage. Sometimes when I have a lot of it like this, I might put it in a big pot rather than a pan because the pan sometimes won't hold it all. Yeah, but I got all my peas. My bush beans coming up, not peas. See, these Chinese cabbage will be giving you cabbage all summer. There, that's good. Put that in there and let it be compost. So, that's all of my Chinese cabbage. But I wanted to show you, see how I trimmed that stalk up? Only left the little tiny leaves at the top. There'll be new leaves coming out each place where I cut that stalk. Cut those leaves off. It produces better when you keep it trimmed back like that, rather than let the great big leaves pull all the nutrients. So, keep your plants trimmed. Isn't that a pretty big pile of greens? Chinese cabbage, y'all. Oh, and I just had to show you while I'm out here. Look at this. Isn't that pretty? They're all blooming. All the way up and down. And I got a deep purple one over here. Isn't that pretty? That's the first deep purple one that's open. There's more buds, but that's the only one that's open yet. But there's a lot of these. A lot of the little lavender ones open. I think that's really pretty. Well, with that, I've got places to go, so I'm going to go ahead and end my video. Y'all have a blessed day, and I'll see you on my next one. Bye now. Love y'all.